have a putter that's too long for me, I'm gonna set up too tall, okay? Or I'm gonna tilt to get my eyes over the golf ball for my hips, but now my elbows get jammed up behind me. Your shoulders past your knees, right? Because then I can go down the line. If I'm kind of here and my shoulders are behind my knees, now I gotta go around the line.
When you prefer to have people have a little toe hang to face balance to completely that way?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Because
So
I think
if you can't feel the head, you're not gonna develop the rhythm you talked about. And so many people, they grip down on their putter, they cut it down.
That's a great point, by the way.
They don't change
lose
the
the
weights.
feel of the head,
They lose the feel of the head. What is swing weight? Swing weight is your brain feeling the golf club as it swings. That's what it is. It's swing weight. So it's swinging, but so if I swing the grip, I don't feel any weight. So swing weight is when I feel the club head. Now that's pretty darn important. We're talking about rhythm and tempo, right? All right, so if I put a club on a swing weight scale, the fulcrum is 14 inches past the end. Right, so the club is kind of secured here and there's a fulcrum that's balancing it. Well, if I cut this end down or grip down on it, the weight's moving closer to the fulcrum, the putter is now lighter. So you have to put more, or you should put more weight in the bottom of the head. And sometimes I'll see people that, well, I'll put some weight in the shaft. I'm like, well, that screws up the center of gravity. You've got to put the weight, and I really like it on both sides of the golf ball, so there's a stability factor there. So at any rate, for every inch you cut a club down, you're losing 6 swing weights, okay? Which is equivalent to 12 grams of weight. The two most important things about fitting a putter is length. Well, what's length effect? Setup. What controls their natural stroke? Their setup, how they approach the ball. You know this, when someone gets off, it's usually not their stroke, it's their setup. Well, the length of the putter affects 3 variables. It affects your forward tilt. So if I have a putter that's too long for me, I'm gonna set up too tall, okay? Or I'm gonna tilt to get my eyes over the golf ball for my hips, but now my elbows get jammed up behind me, right? Or I'm gonna get my elbows in front of me and be tilted and have the putter way out there. So 3 variables: forward tilt, elbow connection, distance from the ball. If a putter's just right for me, you know, I've taught this for a million years: rotate, tuck, and tilt. I like to rotate the elbows in because the elbows rotated in puts your hands more in flexion, right? When you go like this, that puts your hands in extension, which is harder to control. So I like to rotate the elbows in.
It's connection. It connects
and then
here.
tuck is like, I used to say elbows. I say biceps. I like the biceps to be tucked. I don't like the elbows to be too jammed up. Tilt. Where'd I tilt from? Every golf shot, I tilt from the waist, right, or the hips, right? So I'm tilting from the hips. If the putter's the right length, I just kind of lay my biceps on my chest, tilt, hits the ground, find my balance point, which is the balls of my feet. There we go back to stand after, right? GPS, grip, posture, stance, always adjust my feet. Think of Patrick Cantlay. What's he doing? He's moving his feet. You can't move your feet if you're on your heels.
Exactly.
Right? So he's moving around, he's finding that balance point, and then he settles in, he's good, then he goes, right? But if the putter's the wrong length, you can't do it.
Well, that was my big one. I used to love, and I use this everywhere. If you can tap your toes, your weight is far too far back. Yep, exactly. You should only be able to barely wiggle those toes, if anything.
And you should be able to just kind of it's like that much, right? Where I can lift one heel then the other, which just tells me I'm favoring the balls of my feet, 60-40, I like to say. Well, what does that do? That moves your shoulders. You know, I always tell people you got to get your shoulders past your knees, right? Because then I can go down the line. If I'm kind of here and my shoulders are behind my knees, now I got to go around the line, right? So I really, if I had a ball in my right hand and I stood like this, I'm like, the ball's going over there, right? Or it's over there. But if I'm this way, my shoulders past my knee line, now I can go down the line without excess move in my body.
Nice. Yeah,
right?
I like that. Yep, exactly.
So yeah, if you don't have the right putter, you're not going to set it properly. And if you just have the right length and not the right weight, you're not going to have feel.
When you prefer to have people have a little toe hang to face balance to completely that way?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Because I think people pick the wrong putter for them a lot of times too. So
well,
what do you think, Todd?
You got to be careful. And I'm going to just be straight right about this. So, putters swing in an arc. The putter head swings in an arc. Why? Because the shaft's at an angle. If the shaft was at right angles to the ground, there would be no arc, natural.
Hands straight back, straight through, guys. Putter will still arc the further you take it back, okay?
And now, if you take Bryson, right, who's got a putter that's more upright,
he'll say straighter,
by the USGA,
longer, right?
It has to be a minimum of 80 degrees. It can't be 90. It's got to have 10 degrees at this. So there's going to be some arc, but very little. Now you take my putter that's set at 68 degrees, flatter, right? It's going to have more of a natural arc. So I always say natural beats unnatural. So I don't want to fight a putter. So as far as face balancing goes, Scotty says it's toe flow. I like the idea that the putter is going to stay square to the path just naturally and I don't have to fight it. you know, the lab putters are out. Zero torque putters are the big thing now, right? And it's interesting because like lab putters have been out for a decade, right? But Lucas Glover started putting really well with it, and everybody's got to have a lab putter, right? And that's how things go. And it's really interesting to me, if I talk straight about it, I would think that your mind, you know, when you think this putter's helping me, you're going to putt better than when you're thinking it's not helping me.
Right.
Right. So I don't really think it makes a huge difference.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
Right. So do I think toe, like face balancing?
Is there any validity to this? You have somebody who really gets too much of this going the windshield wiper effect. Is that face balance going to help stabilize it a little bit?
You know, I don't know. I think that there's a problem in the stroke. No, I think there's probably more in the setup and the way they're moved, the way they're taught. It's like if the golf swing is going over here, I'm going to tell them, you know, do I need a face balance golf club? No, I need I need a better golf swing, right?
That's a great point.
But anyway, that's just how I think. I'm going to fix the problem. A manufacturer's they see the problem in the golf club. I'm seeing the problem in the person. I think, you know, here's something that's important. All right, face rotation. Face rotation is completely controlled by pressure on the grip. If I want the face to close, put a little pressure on the top of the grip, right? That's what face rotation is. If I put pressure on the top of the grip when the putter's moving forward, it's closing. If I put pressure on the bottom of the grip, it's opening. So do I think I can override, you know, face balance or whatever, or toe hang with how I'm using my hands and how my hands are placed in the golf club? I'm more to that. So anyway, if someone comes up to me and they say face balance really helps me, I'm like, go for it, dude. Face balance, 'cause I don't think it hurts them.
Yep.
So I'm a big believer in just making sure the setup is good and the stroke mechanics are good.
You know, it's funny, because here's the thing. You know my stroke.
Yeah.
You put a blade in my hand, you put a mount in my hand. I roll the same. I roll it the same every time.
Yeah.
You know?
So
well,
like
maybe
I said,
it looks better. I think the look is probably more important.
Yeah.
It
Well,
changes
like
the mindset.
Well, like, you know, I grew up on a Zing putter, a Zing 2 Ping, a Ping Zing 2, had a little bit of a gooseneck hosel. So if you give me a plumber's neck, I look down and I just don't like it.
Right.
Doesn't give me confidence. I don't think I'm going to putt well with it. That mindset is negative, right? So now if I Tiger Woods grew up with a plumber's neck. You know, you give him a slant neck, he's not going to like it. His eyes are not used to seeing it. I think that, you know, eye appeal is as important as anything. So, you know, I set this putter down. It looks great to me. If you give me a plumber's neck, same brand, a plumber's neck, different style, it doesn't look as good to me. I won't putt as well with it. So I think eye appeal is really important when you're choosing putters.
Well, that's good. I'm glad I asked you the question, though, because a lot of people, you know, I get these questions all the time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, what's going to help me the most, you know? And
what's going to help you the most is a good freaking stroke.
Right. I love you, man. Hey, all right. I appreciate you, buddy. Kevin, I appreciate you. Thank you so much, bud.
At Forzak Golf, we take a lot of pride in having developed some of the best and most consistent golf swings on the planet. We do this through simplicity. Our Full Swing Masterclass will take you on a step-by-step, easy-to-understand process on how to get your golf swing better than ever. Join the many before you who've utilized our Full Swing Masterclass to take their games to the next level and beyond.